Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice. But here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the podcast where we discuss all things tech, AI to VR, robots to flying cars. I'm Kevin Doyle, and this week I'm joined by Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel. Coming up in this week's episode, we have the teen banned from American Airlines for skiplagging, and we'll learn what skiplagging is. The infrared wireless standard, LiFi. Elon thinks super intelligent AI is better for humanity. And we will wrap up with our null, not null recommendation section, where we either recommend or recommend that you avoid a certain product or service. Okay, I'm going to start with something slightly different this week. So I didn't tell you guys that I've got an extra topic to talk about. So it's not a topic, but I wanted to get your guys' kind of real-time reaction to it. So the internet it's probably the greatest thing mankind's ever invented. Some would say, right? The wheel, slicing bread, the internet, it's up there,
Al
right?
Gore.
Just ask Al Gore, exactly. One of the greatest things ever invented. The things that we use it for boggle my mind on a week-to-week basis. We've been surprised on here by some things. This week, I think, might have taken the biscuit. This may be the ultimate use of the internet for me, or the ultimate weird use of the internet. Have you guys heard of something called, and this is on TikTok, by the way, a TikToker called Pinky Doll and NPC TikTok? Have you guys heard of this? Okay, wow, I'm going to blow your guys' minds.
I was going to say,
Please don't look it up yet.
Somehow stumbled on this, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I almost gave up.
Okay,
I was lost that you said take the biscuit. I thought that was take the cake.
Sounds like a really English phrase.
Is that an English thing? Sorry. Sorry.
I think we go with take the cake, but
So this is Pinky Doll, and you guys should be able to hear this when I play this. This is NPC TikTok.
Ice cream so good. Thank you, Jackie. Gang, 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 gang. Oh, special. Gang, gang. Rah, rah, rah. Gang, gang. Gang, gang, balloon. Gang, 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 gang. That was good. Lemonade. Hee-haw, yes. You got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me write it, huh? Hee-haw,
okay,
yes.
I'm going to stop it right there.
Thank God. Because I just lost.
What the heck is that?
Okay. This is taking over TikTok, apparently.
Oh,
so here's what this is. It's NPC, so like non-playable character is the intention, right? This person is cosplaying a non-playable character, right? So the intention here is whenever somebody gives them an emote on TikTok, they act out the emote. So what she was doing there was when somebody gave her a GG, she was saying the GG. When somebody gave her ice cream, she was going, ice cream. And that's what she did for hours on end.
God help us.
Hours on end. But look what's happening. 21,000 people were watching that at the time of that video. You saw how many emotes were coming in. She gets paid every time one of those emotes comes in. This lady might be the genius that we've all been looking for.
What have Paul and I been saying about idiocracy?
This happening. The fact that there's that many people empowering this type of behavior is a sad sign of the civilization collapse. But to be honest, I think I'm going to open a TikTok and give it a try, see how much
you can.
I will have to wear a mask, hide my identity, because there's no way in hell I will come back on the show being, hey, we saw you on TikTok, Paul, doing the NPC thing. You did great there. For those listening, I'm sure I did this earlier today when I saw this thing. Go on TikTok, open up the app, search NPC, go live. There are hundreds of these right now live on TikTok making money. Jesus
the greatest human invention has come down to this.
Idiocracy is happening. Somebody go outside quickly, water your plants with Gatorade. Come on, you can do it. Just make this happen.
What I don't understand is like we watched it there for 19 seconds. I think about 8 seconds in, I was resisting the urge to scream.
Yeah.
Like it was like, what is this woman doing? Like I don't get it. Like why would I watch this longer than 4 seconds?
21,000 people are watching it though. Like this has some kind of a draw. I have no idea what like fix it's giving people, I really don't know. But
Okay, I'm the chick here.
Our country's doomed.
You know what they're watching for is that cleavage. I'm just saying.
Hold on. I will say that was one of my first thoughts. Was like, is this all women doing this? And it's not. There are plenty of dudes doing this on there too. She's just the poster child for this. I don't know why.
Sure.
But there were plenty of guys doing it on there too, because that's what I thought too. I was like, well, clearly this has like she's doing it because it's like, you know, whatever.
Right.
But no, there's lots of others too. I was like, wow.
I'm gonna create an AI bot to do that.
Yeah, see, there you go. Like do an actual like animated, you know, like
an actual NPC.
Right.
Speaking of which, completely random, I saw another amazing use of the internet, which blew my mind. Why that it even exists. Somebody has a Twitch AI Jesus where you could go and ask questions. Just type Twitch AI Jesus, you'll find it. And it's
like, is
amazing.
The channel What Would Jesus Do? Like they really should.
It's just
they
Jesus
missed that one. It's not
animated, giving advice about anything you ask, and it's pretty insane, and it's pretty nuts. So the internet, it's going to go into places we never thought it would go.
Hey, the internet's gonna internet. That's what I was gonna.
But I thought, I've never, if somebody had to say, Paul, I'll give you $1 billion to guess the next trend, that would be the last thing that I would think of. Like when I saw that, I literally was like, what am I watching, and what condition are they suffering from to be able to go through that? That's what I gotta say.
NPC TikTok was not on my internet bingo card. No, nor anybody else's.
We are devolving.
It reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph with the when you're just feeding the rabbit pancakes.
So
crazy. Like, that's it. Like just like you know, a slot machine. You're just feeding it, feeding.
Here's the sad part. Like, I would like to see the metrics or statistic of what is the average view duration. Like, for instance, we have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I waste my time sometimes. Like, I binge watch, like Netflix. I watched Jack Ryan series. I thought it was a pretty good season, like really fast. Like, and I was like, that's 10 hours of or 4 hours, because they still didn't release all the seasons. And I feel guilty. And then I can't imagine wasting like 7-8 hours a day or 10 hours, even a week, watching just that. Like, what value are you providing? Like, so I watch YouTube because I feel like the YouTube videos that I watch, like I'm getting some sort of value outside of just pure stupid entertainment. And it feels like, the way TikTok is, all it really wants is just to steal your attention and give you like that stupid dopamine fix without providing any value. So like after watching TikTok, like you will never feel like you did something productive with yourself.
I feel stupider every time I click on it. I just feel dumber.
I didn't want to offend any of the TikTok consumers out there. But in my opinion, like it's an app designed by China to damage the brains of our poor youngins.
And look where we're at. It's kind of working, seemingly.
Like, let me ask you this: like if someone put that on your resume, I watch 10 hours of NPC TikTok, and I think you should pay me more than the minimum wage. That's like, to be honest, if my daughter called me today and said that this is what she's watching, God damn, it would be so hard for me to be like, I don't know if I know I'm not supposed to disown you, but damn, this is like the closest you've ever been.
Here's the thing. Don't look up how much money they're making, because you'll just... It's disgusting. It's thousands.
So how is she making money when Indiana Jones fails at the box office? So
people's I don't know. People's attentions have changed. I don't know. It confuses me. So there you go.
Kevin, the TikTok algorithm is really good. I fear for your algorithm now. So
algorithm is telling you something, Kevin.
It's true.
Totally.
I didn't find it through TikTok. This is the thing. I had to go, but I agree. My algorithm is now ruined.
Ruined.
by
You're going to have to do a lot of TikTok viewing to clear that all out.
I am, but oh well. We'll just live with it for a week. I just keep
new accounts.
Recently, a teen was banned. A 17-year-old guy was banned from American Airlines for doing something called skiplagging. So I'd heard of this before, but I hadn't heard of it using this terminology before. So we'll talk about what that is in a second. But he was on a flight from Gainesville, Florida, to New York City with a layover in Charlotte. So what happened was when he went to the gate agents in Florida looked at this guy and he checked in with a North Carolina driver's license. They thought that was suspicious, apparently, and questioned him over the fact that he was going to New York City, which I don't know how this came about, but the discovery of this just seems insane. But the intention of the young man was to jump off the flight at the layover in Charlotte and not take the final leg to New York City. And I guess at some point he must have admitted this. So they kicked him off the flight, said that he couldn't take the flight from Florida to Charlotte. And his family basically ended up buying a different ticket on a different airline because they also banned him for 3 years from American Airlines. So this isn't a new thing, though, apparently. So in 2018, there was a couple of others that this happened to. And I'm sure this happened at plenty of other places, but another airline charged a passenger for doing the same thing. They basically sent them an invoice or something. In 2018 was United. It was an extra $1,000 or something like that. They tried to rebill them. And one airline, Lufthansa, in 2018, sued a passenger for violating their terms of service related to skiplagging. They sued them for $2,300 in damages. Now, I don't know if they won or not. I couldn't find the outcome of the case. So this isn't a brand new thing. So with that said, I've never personally done this, and I now feel the need to do this because I'll tell you why I do not like American Airlines in a second. But I'm going to come to you, Paul. Have you ever done this? Would you ever do this? And are you flying with American Airlines to do this?
Maybe by accident I've done this. I decided to go somewhere, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to visit my friends that live in the area, and then I'll go somewhere else.
Did you know you were breaking terms of service?
No, I had no idea that was a law. I thought it's fine. Like, I paid for the ticket. What's the problem? You know what I mean? To me, it's like somebody else could take my seat. There's always people looking to jump on the plane. And the fact that they're doing that's wild. And the fact that, like, they'll complain if you do something, but God forbid they do something. So I was traveling not too long ago, and they're like, oh, by the way, we decided to like cancel your flight and reroute you, so you have to spend an extra day at the airport. I'm like, what the hell do I get? And then I have to go through all this. So I went to visit my family. I had to literally argue with them to get a flight, and then I couldn't even get the flight that I needed to Hartford Bradley International Airport. I ended up like flying to Boston and having my mom drive like 2.5 hours to pick me up. And I'm like, that's such a wow. Like, it's so dumb. Like, they could do whatever they want, but God forbid, we paid for the ticket. You got our money. You know, if anything, you're saving money because that's less of your stupid peanuts and, lukewarm coffee I'm having on the flight. You're saving money.
And I agree. What's the difference between buying the entire ticket, right, and never jumping on the flight versus just taking the one leg? I don't see a difference. And do they say that's against their terms of service? Like, if you buy the ticket, what are they going to do? Force you on the plane? Come to your house and like round you up and get you on the plane?
You can send you a bill for not flying.
It's crazy. I mean, one time I was questioned at the airline is I flew to another country and I had one-way ticket. And then hindsight, I could see how that could look suspicious. But I was like, I am coming back. I just don't know when. And so I figured like I don't want to buy a ticket. But like that makes sense to me. But like, if you have a layover and you already, made plans. I also heard somebody who had a layover, and the airport was really close, and for some reason, like, wasn't going to work out, like, or there was a delay. They're like, I'll just get off here and drive, like, rent the car and drive to my destination. And like the fact that they could be punished for that, it's crazy.
I can tell you that I've done this multiple times. So like, where we live, Charlotte is an hour and 15 minutes from where I live. And so Greensboro is what's called a hub airport. Charlotte's the main one. We have two, Raleigh and Charlotte, both about an hour from where I live. I have flown into Charlotte from New York or LA or even Dallas. And the layover typically in Charlotte to get to Greensboro is 50 minutes. I can't tell you how many times I've just said, I'm just going to get a car. I'm just going to drive home and and then take the car back tomorrow. And then, cause it'd be quicker. Sometimes the connector gets delayed. Oh, it'll be delayed 25 minutes. I'm like, dude, I could be home by the time this plane takes off. So like, I just leave. And I've never thought about that being a big deal. Here's what I'm wondering, Kevin. Do you think we're going to, like, if they if they're allowed to do this, what they shouldn't. They detained this kid, according to the article, in a room, and security.
Yeah,
that's just wrong.
Well, they
like,
have denied that. Well, they have denied it.
I know they did, but
that's part of the article. But I read another part of the thing that the airline basically said they questioned him at the counter, which to me does make more sense. I'm not sure they would have dragged him away because who would drag him away and where would they drag him away to? Like,
well, you know, if you think you're questionable, they have places to detain people if they're going to get.
Well, hold on. The cops from the TSA do. The airline
exactly.
It depends if the cops from the TSA were getting involved or not. I don't know. I don't know if that part of the story is true. That part of the story to me is the part that doesn't ring true.
Right.
Because when we first talked about this, and he was like, "Yeah, they carted him away." I was like, "Did they?" To me, it just didn't seem correct. And the airline has said they questioned him at the counter. Why did they even question him? That's the part I don't even get.
So, like, I can imagine that them taking him to another room because, like, you know, they get the right person. They're highly upset. Like, this is going to, like, you've seen people at airports. This is a shouting match. Like, are you kicking me off the plane? Like, what do you mean?
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
You know, like it's like the Seinfeld episode. You took the reservation, you just don't keep it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take.
So let's take this to the logical. Let's say that they're allowed to do this. Like, this should be illegal. If you sell a ticket, it should be illegal. So if we go to McDonald's and get a quarter pounder with fries, and I don't eat the fries, I just eat the quarter pounder, am I in trouble? I mean, like, are other people going to say you didn't use the whole thing?
Yes,
I mean, like, where does this go?
Yeah, that's the problem I have with it, you know, as the parent of a 17-year-old. You know, the 17-year-old didn't buy the ticket. They didn't have any, like, their dad or mom gave them the ticket and said, go and get off here. Like, they had no say, like, you know, they didn't do it. So to question him, he's like, I don't know, my parents just bought me a ticket and told me to do what I'm doing. Like, question my parents. So to, like, ban him and question him, you know, at that point you're like, okay, you're 17. We're going to let it go this time. You know, let your parents know not to do this again. We're going to, like, flag you in our system, you know, whatever. But, like, for a 17-year-old, this is huge overkill.
Yeah.
To me, it's unfortunately just, it's a one-way street with the airlines. It's their way or no way. It's everything. Right. Everything benefits them. Everything. They will kick you from a flight. They will delay you. Like Bobby said, and like Paul said. I've also rented a car when I would fly a lot for
Did
work,
you get charged
and
for the car?
we get I had to rent it. I mean, I bought it, right? You know, but you know,
no, I mean for cleaning
it was from
sorry.
for cleaning it. Okay. It's just still too.
It was a callback.
From Cincinnati to Columbus, because Cincinnati was the same kind of deal. It was a hub, and you have to go out to Columbus with the connecting flight. And I would often that would be an issue. And like if I got delayed, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a car. Like, it's just quicker. It's like it's a 20-minute flight. It's like an hour and 15 drive, something like that. It's like I would just drive. Rent the car and return it back the next day or whatever, or even the same day sometimes. Just get picked up at the rental place at the airport. I let you drive to the airport to drop it off. It boggles my mind.
So, and this goes back to the Delta story over the weekend where these people were stranded in Vegas for 4 hours on the tarmac, no air conditioning. Now, I don't know all the details of the story, but this is what I heard. I'll just repeat what I read and heard was that they offered them and said, you can get off the plane, but you have to forfeit your ticket and we can't rebook you. So people stayed on the plane. There was 113 in the cabin of the airplane. People got sick. People couldn't go to the restroom. There was kids on there. It was just like, I don't know, man. I just don't understand where there should be a law and Congress should do this.
There is.
It's like transportation. I know it's 4 hours. This needs to go to 45
the issue.
minutes.
4 hours.
That's the issue. The law that exists says they're allowed to keep you on the tarmac for 4 hours. So guess what they did? Kept them on the tarmac for 4 hours. Just so it turns out 4 hours at 113 degrees is like life-threatening.
Yeah,
Right.
well, of course.
I can't believe that there wasn't a Braveheart moment in that plane.
Right. Mutiny.
I was flying back to Texas and we landed. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, why are we not going anywhere? And they're like, oh, somebody else took our terminal. I'm like, how do you not plan ahead and pay attention? And then the pilot's like, oh, we'll drive around and see if there's one open terminal. I'm like, that doesn't sound very like somebody thought this all the way through. And then he drives around all the way through the airport. And then he gets it. He's like, comes back on the radio. Oh, somebody else pulled into that one, apparently. Apparently it was Spirit Airlines, and then we had to wait like God knows, like it wasn't 4 hours, but we had to wait like an hour on the tarmac. I was like, how do you like you have a scheduled flight, you know the time is gonna arrive. How you like don't have your terminal like that? Whatever they do.
You're like, I'm at my destination. Just let me out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I decided with like flying is that you have no say, and you should just be thankful that you get to partake in like the miracle of flight, unless you're like a billionaire and you could charter a private plane. That's basically what they say. Like, and they should have, unless you have money, like prepare to like be disappointed and not have a good experience, because there's nothing you could do about it, you know? So
True.
Yeah, I had a flight from here, Salt Lake, to New Orleans, and I paid extra. Like, there was other flight options. I paid extra for the direct flight. My husband hates flying. I'm like, okay, we'll just get direct flight to New Orleans. And they changed the flight. You know, all of a sudden I like get an email saying like my flight to Michigan. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm not going to Michigan or something. It was somewhere north. So I went from Utah to like north and then back down. I think it was Minnesota. That's what it was. Minnesota and then to New Orleans. And I'm like, you doubled my flight. Like, I could have gotten a different flight that was maybe cheaper if I wanted a layover.
Yeah.
But you totally just changed my flight.
Yeah, they do think it's fine. I had one where it's like, oh, your plane was delayed, but we fixed it all automatically for you. You just have a layover for a day and a half. I'm like, what?
Thank
like,
you.
I'm going to miss the thing I'm traveling to, day and a half. I'm like, you better fix something.
My hate of American Airlines is because they stranded me in Austin once, where you are, Paul. They literally just left me there. They canceled the flight and were just like, canceled it. No rebooking, no nothing. They didn't do anything. I had to call and get another flight and be like, and they're like, oh yeah, you have a credit. I'm like, yeah, I know I have a credit. You canceled it. And I had to spend an extra day.
I was in Dallas for 3 days because of snow. I don't know if you remember that, Kevin, where I was stranded in Dallas, Fort Worth for 3 days.
That's crazy.
It was stupid.
Wow.
I should have drove out the first day from Texas. But.
Probably. Yeah, probably. So you would have
been banned from American Airlines for 3
Exactly.
years.
So I would encourage anybody to look at this. There is a website. It's skiplag.com, and it will be in the description of the video or the show notes. And you can see how this works. Let's say that we wanted to go to from here to Charlotte, for instance, and we can search for flights. And this will give us basically a Skiplag flight. So this right here, look, we can get a flight for $122. It's technically going to Fort Lauderdale, but we're just going to get off at Charlotte, look. The same flight is $270, 5:30 a.m. look to 6:23. If we scroll down, look at that flight. 5:30 a.m. to 6:23 is $270. But we can get it for $122 if we skip lag.
If they don't want people to do this, they need to fix their pricing.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, they do.
That's the big problem is
they want to gouge you over the price.
Right. I'm like, you're going to charge me more for like to go in a shorter distance than to go a longer distance. Like, it does not make any sense.
Yeah.
So they only pick on certain people. I'm convinced of it. But like, if you did this to an attorney, I think you're going to say right away, well, this is deceptive trade practice. Like, you have told me what the price was when it's really this other price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to use the entire service. I don't even think they can force you to get on anything.
I don't know.
They also overbook flights. I mean, just imagine an attorney having a field day on this thing. Like, you overbook flights routinely.
Yeah.
You kick people off flights routinely. Why do I have to get on the other flight? How does it, the plane's already heading there. How does that cost you money? Oh, you wanted me to pay more. Why didn't you tell me what the price was to begin with?
I just want to quickly, this to remind me of a very funny story. I'm on a flight and they overbooked it, and someone in first class didn't like have a seat. And so they're like, okay, we'll take any seat, but there's no any seats available. So they literally asked all the, peasants if we wanted to give up a chair for someone from first class so they could be on this flight. Nobody said yes. And I was like, yes, for us peasants, we won. Like, they got to had to take another flight. But I was like, oh my gosh, it's like kick someone from first class. Don't be trying to steal our seats. That's just so funny.
Paul, I'm that guy. Down. Only fly for first class, Paul. I can't take it.
Exactly.
That's something I've recently
first in every flight.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely recently been doing. Definitely paying more for the better flights. We flew first down to Florida. We flew business back. It's just like I'm I'm over cattle class. Sorry.
There's chickens in the back.
Speaking of which,
I'm over it.
They were saying, like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but they had this new unique design where they're going to, I don't know if I mentioned this before yet, they're going to stagger the seats where some seats are lower than others so they could stack more people in. So somebody's going to be at fart level, It's like,
it's awesome.
It's like great. I was wondering, is that going to be cheaper or more expensive? Like, I'll wear my gas mask if I get to save some money.
So infrared wireless is a thing. So it's not a new thing. It's been around for about a decade, right? Since about 2011, so a little bit over a decade. But the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, you probably know as the IEEE, if you've ever seen it. If you ever see wireless out there, 802.11 anything usually is preceded by IEEE. That's what that stands for. But IEEE 802.11 wireless standard for now officially recognizes wireless light communications as a physical layer for wireless local area networks. So LiFi is its kind of short name. We have Wi-Fi, now we have LiFi. So the difference being that LiFi uses light waves, Wi-Fi uses radio waves. So a couple of things with these. It has some limitations. It's while it's very fast, it can be up to, I think I saw somewhere 100 times faster than Wi-Fi, because it is light. Light travels faster than sound, right? So, or radio waves. So it can be faster, but it needs a direct line of sight and works best within about 10 feet. So they're saying this has like some very niche use cases, of which they don't really go into with this thing. But it is a new standard. It is a thing. I guess we are going to see some hardware, which there has been hardware before. 2018, there was a lamp you could buy that you could kind of use, I guess. So it's not a brand new thing, but the fact that it's standardized now is kind of the reason we're talking about this. So, Bobby, I'm going to ask you, can you see a use case for this? And can you see this in homes and offices, or is this a tech destined for fringe cases at some lab we're never going to see?
Yeah, so like the big use cases, or the only use case I see, because we've solved the radio interference thing pretty much. A lot with all these mesh networks, it's really not a problem. But the LiFi you can directly submit to something else, and it can't be intercepted. So in other words, you have to be physically standing in the light beam for it to be intercepted. So that's secure by default. So I could see us passing like a token from a phone to a door that you want to unlock, and not going through a Wi-Fi, like our door can be unlocked by Wi-Fi. And so that where you couldn't man-in-the-middle attack a LiFi thing. So there's some use cases like that. But as far as your home or your office, the mesh network's going to kill it every single time. And the mesh networks are really, really fast now. So like, I don't see anyone being able to take advantage of 9 gigabits per second. Anyway,
right.
your network,
and it's theoretically much faster.
Yeah.
So it can be much faster. But yeah, I agree. Like the speeds, like it needs a certain use case, doesn't it?
Right. And then the length that you can push it down is also a problem, unless a military application can beam something down from a satellite, which, we'd have Starlink and those kind of things. And that's why there's so many of those things, because it'd have to have a line of sight. But like, I guess, but I don't ever see it being in the home or in work. Our mesh network that we have here is far superior to anything this thing could ever produce.
Anybody else jumping on the LiFi bandwagon?
Yeah, I didn't think about your use case with the door locks. I think that's like one of the only use cases, and a really good use case for that, I think. Especially when you're not using, Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi, like it's going to be a lot more secure for, security systems, I would think. So I like that. But yeah, it's going to be way less portable. Like I can't, take my laptop and like wander the house or anything like that with this. The other use case I was just thinking of, like just the improving of TV remotes. Like it's just a little faster than, my Roku remote. There might be like a delay because it's, using the infrared. It might be, that could be improved. So I could see that too. But other than that, like it's too easily blocked and, not.
I mean, a literal piece of paper will block it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's not
Yeah,
good.
same.
I mean, like,
For me, I don't see any other use case.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess
But-
maybe we'll talk about this again in the future to see, like, we're like, wow, we grossly underestimated LiFi. You know? We'll see. We'll come
the
back in a year.
Terminator
We'll visit
robot
LiFi
is
in a
using
year.
Li-Fi. He killed us all. So.
Although all this new tech reminded me of this article I saw not too long ago called How to Get Infinite Storage by Storing Your Files as YouTube Videos. And so I'll share like the blog post quickly. Complete
I'll put it in the
show notes.
Segue,
trying to steal stuff, but it's just wild. What
They're
people are
using the
coming
YouTube
up with.
API for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
People will be creative.
It doesn't seem like a very good way to store files, though. Like
No.
that search would just be a nightmare.
What's interesting though, like, cause like looking at that, I wonder if like they're spy people that like, I got a
probably.
message to pass. Let me store it
Yeah.
within this video
Yeah,
on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
Yeah.
thing for a long time, right? With images and things, because you can
Yeah.
store in metadata, you can store
Yeah.
embedded images. There was I remember the really genius, like, we're talking about spy things, but the really genius one that I liked, and I can't remember what case this was, but it was a famous thing. But they were it might have been Snowden or something. It was one of the guys who was passing stuff off, but they were just using draft emails as communication because it
Oh,
never
wow.
went across the network. You go into Gmail, you write a draft email, it never sends. You then sign into that account again with somebody else, and the draft email's there waiting for you.
That's
It's
so
like
clever.
so they can never track the fact that an email was sent. I was like, that's genius. Like, who? Like, spend your time doing something productive, man. That's a genius idea. Like,
Well, that actually brings back up the Li-Fi thing. That was another thing I wrote down, but I forgot to mention. Is the people who like are afraid of radio waves, like 5G and whatever, thinking like the radio waves are damaging their their health. I could see them like really embracing this technology because it's just light.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Let me pose a question here. For all the people that are complaining about 5G, what I want to know, what's more
We're gonna
damaging?
make everybody mad. Flat
What's,
Earth.
it's fine. What's more damaging? All the flat earthers, if you're watching, please jump on and give us the answer. But what's more damaging?
they left
the
a long
silly-
time ago.
The silly 5G radio waves or the NPC TikTok? That's what I want to know. What's more
NPC
damaging to your
TikTok.
brain cells? Is it my 5G network or is it NPC TikTok? That I would argue that people just gotta set their priorities straight.
Yeah.
Please, please.
Agreed. So this week in our Skynet Watch section, let's talk about our buddy here, Elon.
Kevin's best friend in the whole world.
Yeah, my best friend. Just so while we're talking about him, by the way, still suspended from Twitter. So just
Oh
so
my
you know.
God.
Still, I'm never getting that account back. But I did start a new one. Let me tell you about this before we talk about that. I started a new Twitter account, okay? Brand new on the same device that I had my old one, just to declare that. Because I don't know if that's going to make a difference in my story or not. It may. So I started a new account. It is FreeKevin2023. So anybody wants to follow me, I'm at FreeKevin2023 on Twitter. So I went and followed a bunch of accounts. I followed 40-something accounts. And I noticed when I followed those accounts, nobody followed me back. I was like, well, hold on, that's weird. Like, I followed a whole bunch of people at the same time. Like, why did nobody follow me back? So I followed, including the Not Null Podcast as one of the things that I followed. So I switched my account. I was like, oh, let me go see a Not Null Podcast. Why did they get a notification? We didn't get a notification. So everybody that I followed did not get a notification that I had followed them. So straight out of the gate, my account was shadow banned. Straight out of the gate when I created it. Now, I don't know if it's because I have a suspended account, it's the same device, and they're that smart. My guess is no. Or every new account that gets created on Twitter is just shadow banned from the get-go, at least for a period of time. I'm not sure, because I started getting some follow backs as soon as I started. Like, I could chat, I could do everything else, but I didn't get any follow backs, and I started getting a couple today. So I may have to go look. I may have been unshadow banned. I'm not sure, but my guess is it's just shadow banned out of the gate to stop spam accounts.
That makes sense because I think I read about some of those like limitations that he's been setting are in effect for new accounts as well. Like your account has to be, created for a set number of days in order to like increase your rate limits and things like that. But So I think that's the more likely scenario, because if it was your device or your IP or anything like that, I think it would affect the Not Null Podcast Twitter as well.
I agree. Yeah. And I manage two others on the same device. I manage Not Null and I manage Coda Foundry on there. And they have not seen an issue. At least that I can tell, they haven't seen an issue, right? I don't know. They could also be shadow banned. I don't know. Kind of crazy. So that's my recent starting up a new Twitter account story. But if that is the case, also nobody's talking about it. I haven't seen a story. I looked it up. I was like, I couldn't find a short story about new accounts being shadow banned. So that made me think that it was something personal to me, and it wasn't just this widespread thing, because somebody would have maybe reported on it or said something. But I don't know.
Hashtag Elon hates Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. He's got it out for me.
You got a nemesis now, Kevin.
Yeah. Look at his beady little eyes.
He's literally looking at you right now.
That Kevin Doyle.
He's like, I'm watching you, Kevin. Say something on Twitter one more time. Say something about Twitter. Come on, I dare you. I dare you. So
anyway,
it'll be hilarious. Everybody who followed you in the past gets banned.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
Conspiracy, no conspiracy.
Your family,
friends, family, everything. You guys are in trouble.
Dang it!
I would unfollow me now.
Yeah.
Quick! Sever all ties.
It's all about freedom on
my
Twitter.
Good buddy, exactly. So my good buddy Elon has he did a recent he had a recent launch. He launched something called XAI, which is his own version of artificial intelligence, with the small goal, by the way, of building a good AGI with the overreaching purpose of just trying to understand the universe. That is literally what he said. I don't even know what to say about that. So anyway, he says the AGI is inevitable and wants to be part of making it. This dude is on a legacy hunting expedition. He is trying to set himself up to be like the Howard Hughes plus. Like, he wants to be the only one who has anything to do with this stuff. He wants his name. He doesn't care about AGI.
His passwords absolutely have something about being God in them. I promise.
100%. Yeah, that's what he wants. So, and another quote from him, he said, "My sort of theory behind the maximally curious, maximally truthful as being probably the safest approach is that I think to a super intelligence, humanity is much more interesting than not humanity." So he believes that a super intelligence is better for humanity than not for humanity. To me, this is like saying it's like the ants in the yard are better to have than not having the ants in the yard. Could I squish all the ants in the yard? Yeah, in a second. Do I care that they get squished them? Nah. But could I just leave them? Yeah. Like, it's the same thing. We're the equivalent of, he's saying humanity is the equivalent of the ants to the AI, but we're going to be more interesting. Humanity is just a toy for them. But okay,
so but what I would say, when you live in a house and you have like pests, like those ants in your kitchen, you're just like, these stupid ants, and you call the person, they come and they just poison all of them. And so, like, it's all good as long as they don't, interrupt your daily life.
My point is that you're nonchalant about ants, right? Yeah. You don't care.
Exactly.
You don't care whether they exist or not. You have no preference to them existing or not, unless they do something to you. Well, trust me, we're going to try and do something to a superhuman intelligence. There's no doubt we're going to try and, like, stop it. Skynet, like, that's why there was a resistance with Skynet, right? It didn't just like, okay, we'll give in. We'll just let you kill us off. It's fine. Like, that wouldn't happen, right? There would be fight back. So, of course, we'd be on their radar.
I think for us to assume that a super smart, like, intelligence is not going to come up with some crazy stuff to do to us is kind of crazy. It's crazy. Like, I feel like anytime you give power to something that's way smarter than you, and you're assuming its behavior as an inferior being, there's a problem in that. That's like, how can you assume that you're going to know what it's going to do? It might instantly just say, nope, that's it. And all over for everyone.
I mean, we can only put our own experiences on this, right?
Exactly.
As the apex kind of thing on Earth right now, humanity, look how we've treated everything that is below us. If there was a superhuman intelligence, we're just another one of those things below the apex.
Yeah.
Well, what's training? Like, what you're saying, everyone has their own experiences they bring to the table. and I have my opinions, and I'm obviously right on all of my opinions, and you are obviously right on all of your opinions. So who's like kind of the arbiter of truth here, where like what opinions is the AI going to have? Are they, do we have left-leaning AI? Do we have right-leaning AI? Like, where is, like, it's going to have to form opinions on stuff in order to, like, be this, like, humanity, super AI. Like, where will it fall, and how are we programming it to fall one way or the other? Like, it just has no capability of gray area, and that's like, there's no way.
Right, and this just shows more to that people don't understand what the super intelligent AI will do. As soon as someone will start complaining, I don't know, the left side is right, the right side is right, the left side, it'll be like, if we don't have left or right, I don't have to listen to this stupid bickering back and forth. Problem fixed, And so it's like, what are they thinking? It's going to solve all of our problems. Let's see, what's the...
Well, it will, but we won't like the solutions.
Right, it's like when you go to the doctor, they say the root cause of your condition is we just have to get rid of the root cause. Let's see. Root cause to everything that happens on this planet, it has been us. And so it's not going to fix us because it can't.
Just destroy us.
It's just going to, destroy
you guys
us.
are the problem.
Whatever. We don't need you anymore. It's like, at least we still have a chance because we could have this Discord and talk about things. But if something more intelligent, more powerful than us comes to being, they'll be like, we don't need you anymore.
So I'm going to take the opposite view. I think Elon, Sam Altman, all these guys are running the biggest con job in history. There's never going to be an AGI ever in a million years. And the reason I say that is because when you look at the universe, the planets just orbit by themselves. If you make a soap bubble in your backyard, it just makes the bubble. It doesn't have to calculate anything. And I think the human brain doesn't calculate stuff. It just does stuff. Mm. And when you start looking at how complex the brain is, like for us, just hold this conversation. I'm also breathing. My heart's moving. I can think about 10 things at once. A computer will never be able to do that. And that's why I think it will fake it. It's going to give us some really good magic tricks. And the fact that people are just amazed by ChatGPT in the beginning, like, oh, it's going to like replace all coders in 5 years. I'm like, you haven't coded yet. You don't know what it can do. And so like, I haven't seen anything yet that it like says, oh, wow, I can't imagine how that works. So like, I just don't see it ever really getting to where they can make an AGI like they're saying. Sam Altman says will happen in a decade. I think they're going to make something to try to trick us to believe that Sam Altman is going to run the world off this thing. I think that's what Microsoft wants. That's what Elon wants. That's what Jeff Bezos wants. That's what all these guys are making AI so they can control the thought. And then we work for pittance underneath them. I don't trust any of these billionaires to have something that powerful.
I agree with that. Because you're right, they want to dictate what it is.
It's crazy.
So it'll never think for itself. I think there could be the Wizard of Oz, and eventually when we defeat the AI robots, we get behind it. And it's just a guy holding a liver, like it's like, was it a computer the whole time? Nope, it was just me. Sorry. And I think that's ultimately what will happen. I think they're trying to trick humanity into falling over some kind of supercomputer that can tell us everything. I mean, we have AI Jesus now. So just if you thought about it for more than 5 minutes, whether you're religious or not, like how stupid is that? Like, let's say you believe in God. That's dumb. And if you don't, that's even stupider. Like, what are we doing? So,
hey, we have NPCs. So
exactly. NPCs.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we've.
Maybe the robots won't even have to take us over. We'll just be mind numbed by NPCs.
All right.
Hey, maybe it's already taken over and we just don't know. And this is part of the plan. The NPCs seem like, I don't know, they're killing brain cells. Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, I think we already created AGI, and that's the Twitch TV Ask Jesus thing that I shared. That's basically, that's already exists. This is as far as it's going to get. And if people,
that's funny.
Yeah. But
I'm of the belief that AGI will happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we're on the path right now for it. I don't know that large language model AI is the path to an AGI. So I'm not okay with I wouldn't discount the fact that we can't have an AGI because of the way large language models work or what we have so far. I just believe that we will get there based on the way that we've ultimately gone down the road of technology we've gone down in the past 50 years.
The issue I have with these tech gurus or whatever you want to call them, like Elon and others, is that it's almost they're trying to be like, we know what's right for the world, and we want to be these benevolent dictators that decide for everybody else how to live their lives. And it's almost like they're trying to like attain, this status of being as close. If you could be God, what would that look like? And it's like they're chasing this power, and they're hiding it from the standpoint of like, we're doing it for the good of all human beings. But yet it's a very selfish drive for you trying to be like, you're just a human being. Like, who are you to have these crazy, like, I don't know, like hallucinations, I guess, about I'm going to create this thing that I'm going to be it. And because of me, this exists, and I'm so great, and la, 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 la. And, to me, that's very interesting.
I mean, Sam Altman believes in universal basic income. Like, that's what he's saying. He literally said ChatGPT can replace all of human work, and everyone can work for $12,000 a year. And that's what he envisions OpenAI being. And I'm like, I don't want to work for 12 grand a year. I mean, that's not what I signed up for. And so like, I don't like the underpinnings of their thought process tells you where they're going to take whatever level of intelligence this AI gets to, where it's going to try to make people work for them for free. They don't like paying people things. So
it seems like that's a crazy thought right now. That does seem like a crazy thought right now, like universal basic income, those kind of things. And but if you go forward hundreds of years, maybe it's not.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Maybe that's not a weird thing for them.
I was looking at Amazon and seeing all the complaints people have about how they're not treated equally and like whatever. And even like from Amazon, they're like, oh, this is not supposed to be like a job you keep for more than, it's a temp job. Like anything you do at Amazon, it's like special, like the drivers and like whatever. And I was thinking like tin hat putting on myself. It's like, why are they creating conditions which people complain and don't like? It's because they want to create conditions where people right now are placeholders in their company. They just don't have the tech to replace people. But they don't want to have people feel comfortable being like, oh, no, you have a permanent home here. No, you're just a placeholder for us to build the robots, build the technology. And as soon as we do, guess what? Your job is not going to exist. And I think, like, I love technology. I love the drive to, like, create better, like, space travel, go to all these places, cure diseases. But at the same time, I feel like you should not do it at a cost of replacing humans and dehumanizing humans. Humans have a will, they have a purpose, they have a need to do things to be fulfilled in their life.
Right.
And you need to make sure that that exists for them, because if it doesn't, like, the world in my mind is going to collapse. You cannot, like, if you replace all the activities that humans can do, then what's the point of being human? And if you have this, let's say, like, you do have this basic income and people live and they meet their basic needs, but because they don't have purpose, they're not going to be happy. Unless everybody's going to be the NPC on TikTok, then this is just all.
Well, there is this thing around, like, if your work is your only purpose, there are like, why do people like want to retire early? Why do they want to do that? Because they want to go travel, they want to go do all these things, they want to go gardening, they want to go skydiving, they want to do these extra things. So you wouldn't have to work. You do all these other things that you could do.
I'm going to tell you this. Like, people that saying that I want to retire early is because they've never been in retirement. So let me tell you this. I took one time I was like, you know what? Screw work. I worked at this company called the Hartford Selling Insurance. I was like, I hate this job. This is mindless, stupid, like, corporate stuff. I'm talking to all these people, trying to convince them to, like, give me their money. It's so depressing. And it's like, I don't want to work. And so I literally quit my job and went and stayed in Thailand for 3 years. Like, not 3 years, 3 months. 3 years would have been amazing. Jesus, but I would probably die from boredom. But here's the story. 1 month into it, I got depressed. And I was like, why am I depressed? And I realized it's because all I was doing is hang out at the beach, eating food, hang out, partying, hang out at the beach, partying, and something was missing. And I realized that I wasn't doing anything that made me fulfilled, feeling that I was being a productive member of society, and then became boring. And so now, like, I don't even, like, when I, like, to me, like, what retirement means is doing a job that I do, like, on my own rules, with my own, like, hours, my own freedom, and I could do it when I want. I could stop by. That's retirement to me. It's not like being work free and doing nothing and fishing, like, because I feel like
no, but that's your option. To somebody else, so that might be their idea of, like, absolute bliss is to go fishing every day or something.
No, but as long as like it fulfills you. But I feel like even that will get boring, because I think at the end, like I was thinking about this, because I used to, like, the younger I was, and I'm still like fairly young in my 40s, but like you're like the things you chase early on, like you feel they're important. As you age, you're like, oh, it's not as important. Now you kind of have this idea of giving back to society in a way that's bigger than you. Like, not saying like leave like a massive legacy, but at least leave a print on the world where you did something that moved the civilization forward. And I feel like even if you try to not do, maybe I'm just weird, but if you try not to do anything, I feel like I am like not living life like I'm supposed to. I think like there's a reason why we want like we strive to be better at like things that we do. Like I'll give you like an idea. I used to make pizzas. And pizzas is really boring, like making pizzas. And my job was boring. And all you're doing is like rolling dough. And at first I sucked at it and it was stupid, but I had this constant drive. But how can I make this better? What is the most efficient and perfect way of rolling? And then I got to a point where I was rolling dough in the most perfect way possible. And it was like, it made me feel good inside that I cracked the code of this is how you make pizza dough. And the reward of becoming like an expert in my mini world of rolling these pizza doughs was bigger reward than my paycheck. And I feel like if that doesn't exist, and that's why people say if you have a job that challenges you but not like discourages you, you're always gonna get happiness out of it because you feel like you're moving up. Like if like the only time go ahead.
I also don't think that's everybody. I think that's just you or a subset of people.
Yeah.
Because there's also the dude that works at the pizza place that doesn't give a crap about how good the pizza is. I know because I've ordered them. Like, you know,
yeah, and
you've had the pizza that's terrible. He has no commitment to anything. He's just there to collect a paycheck.
And if that's the mindset you have, that you're there just to collect the paycheck, that's perfectly fine. But I would not be able to find satisfaction in that. I feel like I would want to get better at what I do, and that is my satisfaction. And I feel like,
but like I'm saying, that's a subset of people. That's not everybody.
I think what you describe it to me is like the people that consume that NPC TikTok content.
That's probably true. The pizza dude's probably on there.
That's what you're describing to me. And what they do is they complain about like life and how they're the victim.
Okay, let's move on to our recommendation section, our null not null section. So this is where we recommend that you avoid a product or service. So I'm going to go I'll go up the list this time. Sarah, you're at the bottom on my screen. So let's go with you first.
All right. So we have a store here called Costco. I'm not sure if anybody's ever heard of that store. Oh, yeah. I'm on steroids right now for an autoimmune disease. So I'm eating all the things. And this is manna from heaven. I don't know if you've seen these. They're animal crackers that are like dipped in Reese's peanut butter and chocolate. And like, I could literally eat this entire bag.
These are available at all Costco's?
I think so. I mean, they're...
And that cures autoimmune disease?
No, it cures the like munchies that I have from the prednisone.
Okay, it's like, wow,
that would be amazing.
My doctor's not telling me that.
Yeah.
I mean, Reese's is good. It's not that good.
That's the medicine I want. The bag of Reese's.
No, I'm on prednisone. That's why my face is getting all round and it's super fun. But yeah, the steroids make me like have insomnia and eat like all day. So at
least you can fix one of those things with Reese's.
Right. Yeah. Well, while I'm like having insomnia, I just eat my Reese's too. Perfect.
I like it. I'm definitely going to go check that out. I do need to make a Costco trip, so I will definitely look out for those.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul, what you got?
I'm just going to say, for all of you Apple Apple phone people that have your fancy cases and you live by your case. So I don't need a case because I'm not, iPhone not supposed to have a case, right? They're not built for that. Why would you hide the perfection of your phone? And so if you've seen my phone before, the front was cracked, the back was cracked, the camera lens had hole in it. It was barely held up by stickers. It looked like
Paul, you're not helping the no case gang
You
here.
are not.
yeah. No, I am, because look at my phone now. It is beautiful. It is nice. No case, no nothing. Why? Because I have Apple Care. I literally went to the store, and that's my
Love
not
it.
null is Apple
I
Care.
love it.
I went to the store, and the girl goes like, typically what we do is we try to fix your phone. And she looks at me like, but your phone is beyond fixable. So we're just going to have to replace it. And then she goes to be like, how did this happen? I was like, a falling accident for my phone. I left the other part out, which is like over a period of 6 months, constantly falling out of my pocket. But like, but that's what it is. And so to me, she's like, would you like to purchase a case? I'm like, why?
Exactly.
She's like,
Why?
because
No,
you
I've got Apple
ruined
Care.
your
I
phone
got
from
Apple Care.
dropping it.
Yeah. I'm like, what's the point? I just like, and if you've seen my phone and the fact that they still replaced it, I literally was embarrassed for myself. I was like, oh my God, they should not replace my phone, because apparently like it looked bad. Like, oh man. But yeah, Apple Care is the greatest thing ever made.
Love it. I agree. I'm also a no case, no screen protector iPhone user who has Apple Care
Monsters.
and who has used it once. And it was great. I used it. I didn't even go to the store for mine. I just called them and I said, hey, I smashed my phone. They're like, we'll send you out a box. Would you like to pay a little bit extra and get it overnight? And I'm like, yes, I would. Thank you very much.
Nice.
And it was like $100.
Yeah, it was.
Replace it.
I was like,
Great.
oh my God, this is so like amazing.
As the
Yeah.
professed Apple hater, though, when I was at Costco today, because literally I just bought these today, because I had to replenish because we went through the other bag really quickly. I ran into my friend she was at the checkout, and she's like, hey, so I'm buying some AirPod, AirPod Pros, right? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
For my husband, should I buy the Apple Care? And I'm like, yes.
I know. You're like,
Yes,
unfortunately,
we need it.
it's actually the
Yeah.
one insurance you should buy.
God,
Yeah,
it's
I'm like,
got-
so she did. She
godsend.
totally bought it, but I'm like, yeah, go buy the Apple
Yeah.
Care.
Because it does actually work. Because I think we've been conditioned, right, through decades of like Best Buy selling you insurance for stuff that was just terrible, right? You want to buy air fryer, you're like, you want to buy insurance with that? You're like, it's as much as the air fryer. You're like,
Right.
no, I don't.
No.
Like, and when I do want to replace it, you're like, well, did you plug it in? You're like, yeah, well, then it doesn't count. You know, they made you jump through every hoop to try and use it, that it made it a totally useless service. But Apple is just like, oh, you want a new one? Cool. Here you go. Just don't hand it over. It's the best insurance ever.
It was
I love it.
amazing. I felt like
Okay,
I was
Bobby, what
breaking
you
the
got?
law. Sorry, like replacing
It
my
feels
phone.
wrong,
I was like,
doesn't it?
oh,
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
agree.
oh my God.
I agree.
He's getting
Yeah.
banned from American Airlines for 3 years for using his Apple Care.
Skiplag.
Bobby, what you got?
All right, so we've moved into our new offices here in the last couple of months, and also upgraded our internet. So we have like gig down and up. And a firewall was a Cisco Meraki MX84, which is a 500 megabyte firewall. So we couldn't use our internet to its full capabilities. And then what I found out was that Cisco Merakis they're on a monthly plan. So like you have to renew it.
Oh, wow.
Years at a time. And so my MX84 renewal for 3 years was $6,000. To get a 1 gig firewall was $30,000.
Jeez.
So I'm like, can I just buy a firewall? Like, it seems like I could just buy one. So I went out and did some shopping and looked around, and I came to this great company called Firewalla. And it's really cool. It's totally mobile driven. I can see every single video playing on our network at once if I want to. I can look at all the packet inspection, everything happens. I can, if I see an upload coming from a device, I can block the upload, block the device, block the downstream, block the upstream. It's really cool. Now, is it the best firewall on planet Earth? No, it's $600, but it's pretty good. And our needs have changed over the time at CoderFounder. We used to host things. I used to run another company that had software, and we took financial information. We stored it locally. So we had SOC level 2 and all that kind of stuff. Well, now since I've sold that, I don't have that anymore. It's really just us in the school, and everything is in the cloud. So this works great. And for $500 for a 2.5 gig firewall, and I just plugged it in, turned it on, and it worked. I had entered in my static IP, and I was up and running in 5 minutes.
This thing's small
great.
too. Doesn't even
It's
take
very
up a rack
small.
space.
Yeah, so like I was taking out a rack mounted one, and so now that was the only problem with this. I had to go buy a shelf to sit it on because it wouldn't fit in the thing. You know,
Now your
so-
server room looks all messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's pretty cool. It does a VPN. It's fast because it's really fast. So it's pretty cool.
So I have a question, and maybe you can answer this too, Sarah, because this is probably in your wheelhouse too.
Yeah, for sure.
Should I have one of these at home?
You know what? They do have a home version that's less than the $600
The purple
here.
one.
Yeah. I've heard of this brand before for sure. I haven't
Yep.
tested it myself, but it does seem pretty good. Like I said, I haven't done some full testing, but there's a couple other IT guys that are in the kind of parenting space that I follow that are also recommending this. So
Okay.
Yeah, I would plug it in, Kevin. It's going to do a lot of things. Like if a packet comes through your network that's kind of suspect, it'll let you know. It'll block it, and so you also can see where traffic is going outbound. And so, if something's calling home, you'll say, "Wow, what's that site going to? What is that site?" Which is weird. The first time I turned the firewall on, it threw alerts up in the first second and said, "Hey, these uploads are going up." And I was like, "Where are these uploads coming from?" I was panicking, "Oh my gosh, what is it?" And it's the IP cameras uploading to the clip storage. And then once I went and looked at the URL of that, oh, that's attached to our alarm system. So which is kind of cool. But I can see them when we upload to the cloud. Every single time those cameras talk to the cloud, I get an alert.
That'd be my concern.
That's
I have
noisy.
Way too much things. I have
Right.
way
You
too
can turn
many-
them down, though.
Exactly.
yeah.
You can mute them. It comes up. You say mute.
Yeah,
you
but
know
I have
what
to
that is.
investigate every single one of them. I'd be spending a week trying to figure out,
It's
why
kinda
my
fun
door
at
locked.
first.
At first, yeah. Talk to Bobby next week when he's like, so many alerts.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool.
No, but yeah, you can because I get, this is somewhat unrelated, but I get a ton of alerts from my kids' devices about keywords that they're saying. And I'll ignore half of those alerts where I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't matter. But then when I'm feeling like something is important, then I dig a little deeper, and it gives you that ability to dig a little deeper. But you can ignore the stuff that seems really benign.
It's all on your phone. It's really cool. So you basically just plug the back end of your cable modem or whatever router you have, and then plug the other end of it into a switch or something like that. That's what I have in my home network here.
Yeah.
You have a switch of some sort.
Yeah.
It
So
also
what is the
can be
difference
your
between
router.
having this and having the firewall router that's in or the firewall that's built into my router? Is
Better,
it simple?
Yeah, it's going to be way better.
faster. So
Okay.
packet inspection. So every packet that comes through, it's looking into it, and that happens really quick. So the reason you pay more money is for the processor on the firewall, and then the amount of bandwidth it can take at any given time.
Okay, so I would basically turn off the one that's on my Wi-Fi router and turn this on, and that would just okay.
Yeah, for
And it
sure.
This
shows you
would
how to
sit-
do that, how to set
would
up
sit-
your network.
This device would sit in between my router and modem. Then, if they're two different devices, right?
Yeah. So
Correct.
your
That's-
modem
okay.
goes directly to your ISP.
Yep.
And then any traffic that comes in or out goes through that purple device.
Okay, interesting.
So
Yeah,
it's the
I
front
would-
line.
Most of you I'm sure have your own Wi-Fi routers, but a lot of the parents that I talk to will just use the Wi-Fi router that's built into their ISP's modem. And
Right.
what I always say is it can do one or the other, but it can't do both great. So just use it as a modem, buy your own Wi-Fi router, because that's going to be a better solution. So here it's the same thing. You've got a Wi-Fi router that's kind of also acting as a firewall. It's not going to be great at both. And so a separate firewall is going to be a lot more secure, a lot more customization and everything that you can do.
And I get you would get more speed out of it too. It is going to be faster than if you have the electronics in your router,
Right.
Okay,
your Wi-Fi router.
there we go. Good to know.
There you go. Network legend. So firewall.
Okay,
Really
so
cool.
my not know for this week. I like that everybody's got recommendations this week. It's cool. My not know for this week is going to be, it solves a problem. So the problem that I have is not all devices can be put on the network. So it's kind of similar to this, right? Not all devices at home can be put on the network, right? They're not all Wi-Fi enabled. They don't all have Bluetooth. They're not all like certain lamps maybe or something. Maybe you don't have a hue lamp or something. You have an old lamp that you like. Or
You have Paul's, whatever he was using before.
Yeah, exactly.
Wise.
Paul's wise bulbs. In my case, my coffee machine. So I use a espresso coffee machine, and the issue with it is that it's not internet enabled at all. And you can get some that are, but mine isn't. So not a slightly older one. It's not internet enabled, and it isn't even a thing where you could like replace the switch in the wall and have that internet enabled, right? So you could turn it on and off at the wall because it has a physical button on it. Okay, so you have to push a physical button to turn it on. Even if I could turn the power on and off, it still wouldn't come back on again, right? So I had physical button to turn on. So I found this amazing piece of technology called a SwitchBot, and it is a physical button pushing machine, right? That operates across Bluetooth.
It's a mini Rube Goldberg machine.
So it is exactly that. So it pushes physical buttons. Okay. So here's my exact example. Look, it's a coffee machine, and it pushes the physical button. So here's what I do. I have it set up. There's a light switch example. Look, so your smart light switch, you have the button that pushes it. So a little arm comes out of it. It like clicks it, and then it comes back in again. This thing's amazing. It's so good. $30.
I need this for my Synology NAS.
Oh, this 100% saves. I was like, I don't need to replace my coffee machine with a fancy one that's going to cost me double the amount. I just need this button pushing machine. So good. So it works out of the box for $30 over Bluetooth, right? So you can pull it up. There's an app, a SwitchBot app. You can click the Bluetooth, and as long as you're in Bluetooth range, it'll activate the switch. You can put them online, so you can, as it says up here, you can get them to work with Wi-Fi. So you can ultimately push them into If This Then That and Google Home and Amazon and whatever. If you want to, there's an extra $30 for the hub if you want to do that. But I haven't done that yet, but I'm probably going to, because here's my scenario. You can set a timer up for it, right? So I could set it every morning at like 7 a.m. I could turn this on. 6:30 a.m. in the morning, I can say, hey, turn my coffee machine on. But it would also do it if I'm not home. So I was like, I don't want that. So what I want to do is, if I'm within a certain geolocation and it's 7:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock, then turn the thing on. Right? It's perfect. So when I'm not home, it doesn't turn on. So I'm probably going to invest in the smart hub too. $30.
That's cool. I like that thing. That's kind of neat.
It's cool, right?
I'm going to get that,
cool.
put on my neighbor's doorbell.
You
saying.
could, and then you're just like, every time you just want to harass them, you're just like clicking the button at home.
Got me again.
Ding dong, ding dong.
So yeah, look, you can see I purchased this on March 10th. So I had this for a minute.
There you go.
It's been
And
great.
he
I
still
definitely
likes it.
use it every day. Every day I use it, and it hasn't. Here's the thing too: it has never failed once. Every time I push that button, it turns on. One push every single time, never failed. It's been great.
Yeah, so my Synology NAS, like if the power goes out, it turns off, and you have to like physically push the button to turn it back on. And
Yeah.
I call it my server room, but it's like literally on top of a closet, like in the stairwell, like. And so it's
So you
all
gotta go
like
up there and push
open,
it.
but yeah, I have to go get a ladder and everything to like push the button. I'm gonna have to get this. Then I'm
There you
like,
go.
boom,
Fix it.
Synology
Awesome.
NAS back online.
Pretty awesome.
$30. That's it. Exactly. And it just works on stickies too, by the way. So it adds like a sticky pad on the back. So it's just like a 3M sticker. Unpeel it, stick it on, and bam, it's there. It's great.
I love this.
Very good.
Kind of funny.
Okay, well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. As always, I ask you to do a couple things. Leave us a review somewhere if you could be so kind. I hope it will be a 5-star if you've listened this far. You can also send us a message as well. The link is in the show notes or in the description. We are, I believe, with the notnullpodcast@gmail.com. I can't remember if we're the Not Null Podcast or Not Null Podcast. I don't remember. It's in
Send
the
it to
description
both.
anyway.
One will get there.
Yeah.
Send it to both. If you want to comment on anything, if we've upset you this week for some reason, all complaints go to that mailbox and we'll read them and throw them in the bin. So, yeah, we'll be back again next week for another one of these. We will catch you guys later.
See you later, guys.
See
Thanks,
ya.
everyone.